The fears run deep within Canada's Somali community that young Somali Canadians are being lured back to that country to fight for an organization deemed a terrorist group by Ottawa. Tonight, CBC News has learned that not only are they going, but that some are also being used by Al-Shabaab to recruit fellow Westerners. The CBC's John Lancaster has been digging into this story. John?
Diana, Al-Shabaab is an al-Qaeda-linked group. Canada added it to its terrorist list last year. It's believed to be responsible for the murders of hundreds of people around the world. And CBC News has learned Al-Shabaab's reach into this country is deeper than we knew. It's a rare glimpse into the world of international terrorist recruiting.
A chance to fight for our beliefs is the best thing that can happen to us in this world.
In this video, posted online, English-speaking extremists in Somalia urge their fellow Westerners to wage violent jihad. Recruits are promised power and martyrdom, and the tactic appears to be working.
They are an organization that is recruiting effectively young Western Muslim youth.
Canadian Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed fought with Al-Shabaab years ago to help free Somalia. He says he got out when the group adopted a hard-line Islamist position, but other young Canadians haven't been deterred from joining.
Radicals are whispering their ears saying, you will never get a job in this country. So, be a man, step up to the plate, join the jihad.
We found these blurred images from a Kenyan newspaper. They purport to show some of the young Westerners who've recently been recruited. Canadian security officials believe at least 20 Canadians and perhaps dozens more have also been recruited. Most from the Toronto area, but some are from Quebec, Manitoba, and Alberta.
Do not think that the martyrs are dead.
Last year, Al-Shabaab released this martyrdom video showing Canadian Mohammed Hilmi Ibrahim shortly before he died. It was a clear example of Al-Shabaab's successful reach into Canada. In fact, a security source tells CBC News the group has been so successful at recruiting, Al-Shabaab is now considered the #1 threat to Canada's national security.
Well, there's no one simple, quick solution.
In an exclusive interview with CBC News, Inspector Keith Finn of Canada's Integrated National Security Enforcement Team says they've managed to intercept or intervene in some cases where young Canadians were poised to join Al-Shabaab. But there's always the concern about those who've slipped away and could eventually return to Canada as trained terrorists.
The problem is that if they're prepared to act on it, then a very small number of people can cause a great deal of harm to Canadians.
Abdullahi Mohammed fears that day will soon come unless the federal government reaches out to young Muslims the way Al-Shabaab has.
Help us before they use us. Employ us before they employ us. The ball is in your court, federal government. Wake up before blood is soaked in the streets of Toronto, like in London, like in Stockholm, like in New York.
Security officials also tell us that some of those Western recruits promise martyrdom and glory end up living in deplorable conditions, and some have died from malnutrition and infections. Diana?
Thanks, John. John Lancaster in Toronto.